Hello there. This year, Wine Searcher is celebrating 25 years since the launch of our website. So we thought we'd take a look at some wines from the 1999 vintage. So here I have a Barolo from the Paolo Scavino winery. So this is the Rocche dell'Annunziata Riserva 1999. It's a Barolo. It's a Barolo specifically from the Morra crew. Now, the Paolo Scavino winery was founded in 1921. Very recently, the head of the family, Enrico Scavino, passed away, unfortunately, and control of the winery has now passed to his two daughters. So I believe they're the fourth generation of their family to now run the winery. Now, the winery has 23 hectares of vineyards in the Barolo region, but of that 23 hectares, they managed to make 19 different crus. So they must have quite a complex patchwork of vineyards from throughout the region. Now, in terms of looking for wines to age for 25 years, Barolo is probably a really good place to start because the Nebbiolo grape variety that it's made from has really lovely high acidity, it has fine tannins and has beautiful lifted aromas that are maintained really well because of the acidity. The other thing to note about looking for wines that'll age 25 years is that I've picked this out in a Magnum because Magnums will age more slowly. Because there's a larger amount of wine in a Magnum to the surface area, that ratio means that it ages more slowly because the chemical reactions in wine happen where the surface is. So with a smaller volume of wine in a bottle, there'll be a larger surface area. Those chemical reactions happen more quickly. The winery is famous for making beautifully aromatic examples of Barolo, so that's what I'm looking for here. So first thing to do is to look at the colour. Now, the colour here is quite typical for Nebbiolo. It is a lovely ruby red colour, but in honesty, although it seems a little dark, there isn't a great depth. I can see through this really easily. Let's have a look at the aromas, shall we? Yes. Those are really classic Nebbiolo aromas. People talk of Nebbiolo as having aromas of rose petals, and this is certainly showing that. They do also talk about having aromas of tar. I'm not quite so sure about that, but we'll come to that. So it's almost there's a high-toned floral perfume, and I think roses are the sort of flower that have those sort of high-toned notes that I'm getting here. Something very particular about that. As for the tarry side of things, I think there's more sort of dark licorice, but perhaps there's also an earthiness as well. And there's a red fruit, an underlying red fruit, sort of to an extent. There's a plumminess, but on top of the rich plummy core, there's more sort of cranberry, red currant notes coming through, sort of fresher red fruits. So let's have a taste and see what we make of it, shall we? The wine has a lovely freshness. That's backed up by a very fine structure. There are fine tannins in there. And at first they give us sort of a velvety nature. But then as you get more towards the finish, there's a silky smooth element to them. And then they give way to a more gripping, maybe slightly dusty note as well. And that lies alongside some really lovely, fresh red fruit on the finish that's being lifted by this good acidity again. So you've got that sort of cranberry, red currant fruit, both on the attack and on the finish, giving a lovely long clean finish. The wine doesn't seem particularly weighty. It's medium to full bodied. It's structured. There's a density to it. There's a sort of a licoriciness to the core, but however that sort of lifted perfume nature of the red fruit gives it an elegance that doesn't seem too heavy. The alcohol is not making it seem particularly heavy. It's giving a roundness to the back palate, and yet there's still a long, elegant, delicate finish after that. So it's not taking over and overpowering the fruit. So yes, I mean, I think this is a very classic, quite structured Barolo style. I mean, the Riserva, it's had slightly longer aging in oak, so that's going to give it a more defined structure, I would guess. I think this is a wine that's beautifully mature now, and yet at the same time it has a confidence and a complexity. I keep finding different aromas coming through. There are sort of notes of lavender, rosemary, those sort of notes finding their way through. alongside sort of slightly dusty notes. There are notes of forest floor in the development, but those are overlaid by rich licorice. So I certainly don't feel there's any hurry to drink this wine up. I would think 3 or 4 years it would still be drinking very nicely. Perhaps if you have bottles, those might require drinking a little sooner. But this is a wine that's aging beautifully. In fact, is crying out to be matched with cheese or rich meat, or those sorts of things. It's something to give protein to play against the acidity and the tannins in this wine. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this of interest. If you've enjoyed the tasting, do please press the like button. Do please feel free to share the video with any friends you think might be interested in it. Do also please sign up and follow us on YouTube. That would be fantastic. There are links to pricing and availability in the box below, the Wine Searcher website, if that interests you. And also please feel free to leave your feedback. We'd love to hear what you think about the wines, the tastings we're doing, or anything else that relates to that. Most importantly, however, do please come and join us for another tasting in the near future whenever you can. Thanks again. Bye for now.